Welcome to Wildside, your wild true crime podcast.
We're your hosts, who are sisters, storytellers, and truth seekers.
I'm Bailey, a therapist who is fascinated by all weird and dark human behaviors.
And I'm Chelsea, an educator here to unearth the facts behind the cases.
We cover true crime because some cases are just too dark to forget,
and others are too wild to ignore.
We're so glad you're here, so buckle up
and enjoy the ride.
Happy Thanksgiving, kind of.
Yeah, I hope you guys are going to have a fabulous Thanksgiving. I feel like last year, didn't we drop that awful Thanksgiving case? Or was it Christmas?
It was Halloween.
No. The one where the guy was like, I don't remember what happened. And come to find out he had a bullet like lodged in his...
Oh, yeah. That was Christmas that we did that one.
That was Christmas.
Yeah. And two things. Number one, make sure to use your talking boundaries and your communication boundaries this Thanksgiving holidays. And all holidays are highly triggering.
Yeah.
So if you are in recovery or early in recovery or what have you, definitely try to touch base with a sponsor or somebody else in recovery and maybe avoid some of the really super triggering things. Second thing is, sucks for y'all. You're not getting a full Shortcide because you should really thank Chelsea for this. I was just like, screw them. Let them, touch grass. They can kick rocks. Meaning y'all, our listeners. Because I was like, I'm not typing up an episode on my week break from like my job. I'm not doing it. And Chelsea's like, Bailey, okay, well, all right. So she typed up today's episode, and henceforth, is that the right word? Henceforth, sure. It's only one.
Yeah.
Oh, and the last thing before we get into it, I talked to our father last night, Skip. Mm-hmm. Our biological father, not our holy father. I mean, I talked to him too, but I wanted to say that he said, hey, you need to give a shout out to Jen. And Jen is a wonderful woman who I think is in like the same business as our dad. And apparently, Jen, you listen all the time. And so we wanted to give you a shout out. He was like, let me spell her name, her full name, blood type and social security number. And I was like, Dad, I'll just do a first name. I'm not going to put her last name out there.
Right. Yes, they are business acquaintances. They work together. And she has gone out of her way to actually call Dad and tell him that she genuinely likes our podcast. And she's, it's not one of those like, she's the one who's building the relationship, the business relationship. She's just one of the components of the business, meaning she doesn't have any like motive behind it.
There's no like ulterior motive or something, just being a nice person.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jen. We appreciate that. We appreciate you for listening to us.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you see that we actually had a review on Apple Podcast?
Oh, Lord.
No, it was actually it was actually a good review. I don't know why I'm always shocked at this stuff, I don't know. But yeah, we did. And it pretty much said that the title was Can't Stop Listening. And it says, this is one of those rare true crime podcasts that immediately grabs you and doesn't let go. Each episode is well researched, yet respectful and engaging. What really sets it apart is the balance. It's interesting without the awful crime being sensationalized. And I love the balanced perspective the hosts bring to the table. I also love the interviews. It adds so much education that you didn't know you needed. If you're looking for a true crime podcast that respects the subject matter while delivering a binge-worthy listening experience, Wildside should be at the very top of your list.
That was very kind.
I know. So AAL 111020018. I don't think that's our mom. I don't think it's Brenda.
No, Mom, no. No.
So,
but we say Dankeschön.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays. You guys stay safe. and I'm really excited to hear this. Do we have, like, a theme? Is this, like, a holiday theme?
So it is. It is. I wanted to find something that correlated with the holiday season, specifically Thanksgiving, but I didn't want it to be dark and I didn't want it to be murder.
Yeah,
I just,
yeah.
like you said, holidays are kind of tough anyway for a lot of people. It's not always something they look forward to. So I wanted to bring something that was a little bit lighter. However, the the central component of this case is not light. It is sweet, but it is not light.
Okay.
And I am talking
Sounds
about
like me.
the very sweet, but not necessarily light, more on the dense side. And I am talking about the dense sweet cake that is made with a mixture of candied or dried fruits, nuts,
Bleh.
spice, and sometimes alcohol. Can you guess it, Bailey? It's fruitcake.
God, I hate fruitcake. It's so gross.
Okay, fruitcake is the worst. I however, it is a traditional, especially Thanksgiving and into Christmas, it is a
Yeah,
traditional go-to for a lot of people, especially in the South.
yeah.
And here in the great state of Texas, we actually have a bakery called Collins Street Bakery, and it is in Corsicana, Texas. It was actually founded in 1896, and it was started by a German baker that had moved to the area. And by the early 1900s, it was one of America's first mail order treats shop. They would actually mail out, yeah, they would mail out
Oh, wow.
their treats. And
Gosh, could you imagine back in the day when, like, nothing was good in life
yeah, to get a fruitcake in the mail.
to be like, "Oh, I don't have to drive 14 miles to the general store."
Yeah, which would take you an hour, right? Because cars only went like 3 miles an hour back then,
Yeah.
if you had a car.
If you didn't lose a wheel
Right,
on the way,
exactly.
and to get a fruitcake in the mail,
I mean,
I mean,
it was probably magical.
I would have loved fruitcake then.
You would've. That is very true. And now they ship nationwide, or actually internationally, they ship to over 200 countries.
It's amazing.
So, as sweet and as lovely, arguably lovely as fruit cakes are, we're gonna talk about the day that the fruit cake crumbled.
Is this whole ass episode around fruitcake?
I mean, yes and no. I'm not gonna talk about the history of fruit cake the entire time,
Okay.
but it's about well, you'll find out. You'll find
Okay.
out. But it's
Alright.
not about murder.
Okay.
It's not murder.
Just fruitcake.
So, even though fruitcakes are traditional holiday yummies, when everything crumbled, when the fruitcake actually crumbled, proverbially, theoretically, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh,
Yeah, that you're good. Mhm.
so this actually happened on July 24th, 2013.
Oh,
And
it's a
it
recent
was,
one. Okay.
yes, well, yeah,
I mean,
recent-ish, yeah.
for you. For
For
you.
me,
Yeah,
yes. It's not 1903,
right.
which I would love, but it's not. So it was a really awful, steamy, hot morning in Corsicana, Texas, and everything really was just operations were going as usual. So this is kind of their prep time. They're trying to, get ready, start prepping for that holiday seasonal.
Is this the bakery at the Collins Bakery?
Yeah, the Collins
Okay,
Street Bakery.
okay.
And everything was going just fine. Everybody was in their positions. Everybody had, gotten to work the way they were supposed to until a convoy of unmarked gray sedans rolled up to the house of employee Sandy and Kay Jenkins. Now, Sandy is the husband, Kay is the wife.
Okay. Why would unmarked sedans gray sedans roll up?
Well, here we go. Now, if you've ever seen a Southern home described as plantation style, you already know what I'm talking about, right? Like the white columns and the manicured lawn and the wraparound porch, right? The kind that you
Uh-huh.
drink tea on and gossip,
Yeah.
right? But instead of a garden club meeting, out steps a small army of FBI agents. And not the polite kind, the kind who accessorize with like the utility belt and the serious face. Like I feel like you
Yeah.
have to train for that serious FBI face.
Yeah.
And they knock, find nobody, find that nobody's home, and then they just go in. So I'm assuming that means that they have a warrant.
We hope
We
so.
hope so. And the next thing you know, they're hauling out furs, designer luggage, cases of wine, and high-end cars.
Ooh, Sandy and Kay. What y'all
Mhm.
doing?
What
What
y'all
y'all
been
been
doing?
doing?
What y'all been doing over there in Corsicana?
What y'all
So
been doing?
neighbors, of course, gather in their front yards like it's the Macy's Day Parade of Regret. Someone whispers, "Did you hear? Sandy Jenkins has been stealing from the bakery."
Ooh, not Collins Bakery.
And just like that, the fruitcake hits the fan.
Oh man.
Okay, so how did we get here? How did we get here to July 2013? So let's rewind. Sandy Jenkins, he started working at Collins Street Bakery back in 1998. And he was your typical quiet, what was he, Bailey? One of your favorite movies,
I don't know.
the
The Accountant.
The Accountant.
Such a good movie.
It is a great movie.
And The Town. Ben Affleck's like a really good director,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you on that one.
So this is a quiet dude,
Yeah.
hits himself in the shins to strobe lights in his downtime.
He's just this super nice guy. His name's Sandy, you know? Like he's a churchgoer, hardworking, loves his job type of guy. And his boss, oh man, this guy's name, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't make fun of names because you don't get to choose them. But his boss's name is Bob McNutt.
Oh, Bob.
And Bob McNutt, Mr. McNutt, he trusts Sandy completely.
Yeah.
And Sandy has one small problem. He's a great guy, really good accountant, but he has one small problem. He has champagne taste on a fruitcake budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so one day he decides to borrow some money from the bakery, just a little bit, right? Like just one time. He just needs a little bit of cash and it's like he'll pay him back. I'll pay it back whenever either I get the money or my morals return, right?
I mean, you guys, I'm so sorry. This is just like my ADHD brain. But like, okay, if I'm the type of person that has like champagne taste in a beer pocketbook, you know what I mean? I and this is no offense to Collins Bakery, Fruitcake Bakery, but I would probably like set my sights a little bit higher, right?
Meaning you would try to become like the CEO of like the
No, like I would work for a place that probably grosses more like a chain or something. You know what I mean?
well, here's the deal. You would think that. You would think that this little sweet Collins Bakery was just like some mom and pop shop, but this guy, this Sandy Jenkins guy, he keeps going for 9 years, and by the time he's done, he has stolen $16.7 million.
Okay, so they're not super mom and pops anymore. This is a very successful business.
They're kind of a world renowned. I feel like they're the Wally World or the Neiman Marcus of fruitcakes.
Yeah, it's probably like the Savannah Candy Company over in Savannah, Georgia. It's very,
Oh,
very much like a mom and pop store. They have a couple of locations, but they've been around forever and they definitely do very well.
well, not to go off on a tangent, but you have to think it's amazing that you can have a company that was started in the late 1800s and made its way, stayed afloat during
Yeah,
recessions,
you're not wrong. No.
depressions, wars, economic crisis. You know what I mean? Like that kind of says something about this business.
Okay. Good touche.
And honestly, I didn't know that there was that much money in the fruitcake industry. But here
Well,
we
yeah, because it's probably monopolized by Collins because who wants to do fruitcakes?
are. And who's eating them? Who is still eating
Seriously, this is
them?
no offense to Collins. This is nothing
No,
personal
I
other
know.
than fruitcake is in the same category as candy corn.
Yeah. No, it's true. And I mean, maybe internationally, if you're an international listener, tell us about how much you love fruitcake. I don't know. Maybe you're one of those people who are like, what is wrong with you? Fruitcake is the best.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, Sandy, he's living his best life, right? He ends up accumulating, obviously, like I said, 16.7 million, stealing. I shouldn't say accumulating, stealing. He has 38 luxury cars, 38,
That's so excessive.
38 luxury cars, private jets, lavish vacations. He and his wife, Kay, were basically living like the Kardashians who bake, right?
Were people not like, "Hey, Sandy, I was wondering what's going on because I see you in a different car every day for a month straight, and I was just curious, what's up with that?"
You, you know, so the thing about it is, according to the news reports, Kay had no idea that he was stealing. She literally thought that he just was a brilliant accountant. Like she had won the nice guy, church going accountant whiz, number crunching whiz lottery. And he was just providing her with
Yeah.
her best life.
Well, and denial is a very, very strong mechanism too.
I thought it was a river in Egypt. Denial.
No.
So,
Denial.
to answer that question, how does a bakery accountant manage to steal millions for nearly a decade? And really, there's one word that sums it up, and that's trust.
Yeah. So he was the accountant.
He was the accountant.
Oh, that's right, because we talked about the accountant. I don't know why that didn't connect in my brain.
Yeah, no, he was the accountant.
Okay. Now, for some reason in my brain, I'm just picturing this like bald, chubby dude that's sweaty because I always picture bad guys that way. I'm sorry. Like a mouth breathing and him just
Mm-mm,
like taking from a cash register.
mm.
But then you told me he's the accountant, and that makes so much more sense because he had direct access to all of that. Yeah.
And like I said, he was super shy, soft spoken, just a very, very trusting guy. Like
Yeah.
if you were to see the picture of Kay and Sandy, they literally look like any normal,
They always
slightly
do.
overweight Southern sweet couple
Yeah. They
type of.
always do though.
Well, and again, you have to think that Corsicana, Texas it's still one of those towns where people, they wave from their truck and they make handshake deals, across the hood of a Ford type of town. And
Yeah.
and trust really runs deep in these southern towns.
Yeah. I still having a hard time wrapping my brain around how you don't notice $16 million. I don't mean missing from your account if you don't touch that, that's why you have an accountant. I understand that, but I mean
The lifestyle that he's living.
the lifestyle in such a small town.
Well, and maybe it's one of those things that he kept it pretty hush hush, right? Like maybe
Maybe.
it was one of those like nobody really, maybe he didn't flaunt it. Maybe it was more like he and his wife did it and they kind of
With
knew about it.
38 cars he didn't flaunt?
Maybe again, maybe he had like a barn and people have barns around here. Like it's
Yeah, and
not.
he just put all his cars in a
I
barn.
know. I don't know.
Okay.
And again, when you have the same people that work in a place for years, you become, I don't know, complacent
Yeah.
until you don't, or until you get a new hire. And that's exactly what happens.
I was about to say, so how did it happen?
So you get this fresh faced accountant. The company is doing well. I imagine they're expanding, or maybe they're amping up for the holiday season. And this fresh faced accountant notices some weird transactions, like $280,000 worth of transactions.
Now did Sandy leave and they hire a new accountant?
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm not sure why they brought in another accountant. It's probably because they were growing as a company,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, okay.
And obviously, a weird $280,000 transaction is not like oh, we accidentally ordered too many, I don't know, candied pecans.
Sure.
That's like maybe someone's buying a Lexus type of red flag.
$270,000 for a Lexus?
280,000. I mean, maybe he's buying a Hummer truck. I don't know. He's buying some.
Do Lexuses go that high?
They might.
No, surely.
If they're custom, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, but like not candied pecans, but big
Right.
purchases. Yeah. Okay.
So when confronted, Sandy, he didn't even try to lie. He just said, I write the checks for the bakery, which, yeah, like that's the problem, Sandy. Like that's literally the issue. And he then tries to make a run for it. And so driving between his vacation homes in Santa Fe and Austin, because he lived in Corsicana and he had two vacation homes, one in Santa Fe.
In the most expensive cities in like the whole continental US.
Dude, go big or go home.
That's how he got away with it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was in this mad dash. He is hiding cash and jewelry in freezer bags and then like just squirreling them away, right? Like he's just trying to tuck it anywhere he could. And some of it he actually threw in the lake because
Huh.
he just was like, I've got to get rid of evidence. And maybe he thought that this stuff would just sink to the bottom and dissolve. But unfortunately, it didn't. And eventually, the FBI caught up and he was arrested for mail fraud, money laundering, and a bunch of other things that boils down to essentially stealing.
Sandy.
I know. It was Sandy.
Bro.
Sandy.
Sandy.
Now, he does get caught. And now we're getting into trial time. And so by the time the case went to trial, the courtroom heard a list of Sandy's purchases. And it literally,
Okay.
like, to me, it sounds like a rap song. Like, it sounds like through the 3 minutes of a rap song and they talk about, like, all their hood purchases. Like, this is essentially what this guy's purchase sheet looks like. So it includes private jets that would fly back and forth to Aspen, Colorado, a Bentley, a Porsche, millions of purchases from Neiman Marcus, and an 11 million like credit card debt, if you will, on the Black American Express card, so like the Black level card. And so that means that they were putting like $98,000 a month on this American Express card.
It's just I get so frustrated with stuff like that.
Right. But to answer your original question of like, if you wanted that much money, why would you work at a bakery? Yes, they had a lot of money coming in, but he made, as an accountant there at Collins Street Bakery, $50,000 a year.
Which is
It's not terrible, but it's not great. I mean, it's
No.
immodest. And it's just crazy to me because I honestly, I get nervous buying like 2 lattes in one day. Like, I can't imagine racking up $98,000 a month on an American Express card.
I know. We are in the process of buying a house right now, and it's got acres and it's awesome, and we're really stoked because I'm gonna be by nobody, which is how I wanna live
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
entire life. But my point is, like, we're having to put a lot of money down,
Right.
you know? And it's just like, I mean, we're not having to put a lot of money down, but, you gotta put money down and all that stuff, and Ye I it's so wild to me how perspective changes so critically and abruptly and drastically. Because, like, from my perspective, $16 million is just, like, my brain can't totally wrap my head around that, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, but my brain can wrap around 98,000 a little bit better, and spending $98,000 a month with my lifestyle right now, I don't think I could even spend $98,000 a month. You know what I mean?
No, that's I'm always like, "How do you spend like, what do you spend it on?" But I mean, I guess I don't know, I guess literally the sky's the limit.
I'm not a what's it called? A brand person.
No.
We've talked about this before. The only brand that I'm really, like, kind of a stickler on are my Ray-Bans. I love my Ray-Bans, and it's just a weird thing that I have, but everything else, I just don't really care. And, like, Goodwill and Targets and thrift stores are my best friend, and I love it so much, and I love the thrill of finding expensive things for cheap. So I don't, like I said, I can't even fathom what it would be like spending $98,000, and that's every month. Do you know how exhausting that would
That
be?
would be exhausting.
To spend so much money all the time? All the time?
I just always think, like, doesn't that get boring after a while? You know?
Yeah,
Like,
and I think that's why you just blow through it.
it's just I don't know. Well, and again, kind of, before we get to what happened, like what the sentencing was, I think we do need to talk about again, it wasn't that nobody noticed that the money was not there, but it was more they noticed, they asked Sandy, and then it was things like, well, the ads that we invested in, that didn't work out. We're losing money on the ads that we invested.
There was always an
Right,
answer
there was
too.
always an answer, but what was actually happening is he was buying another car, right? Or he was buying something else, or, he would give them, market trends and market reports, and it was just like, "Well, people are not buying like they used to. People's tastes are changing, so we should look into."
He was literally gaslighting an entire 100-year-old establishment.
Yeah, yeah, and really, if you think about it, it's kind of sad to think that he probably could have brought it down completely, right? Like, he
Yeah.
probably could have bankrupt a over 100-year-old company, and that's awful. That's awful to think.
Well, and the level of betrayal, you know what I mean? And we talk about this every time there's, like, embezzlement. There's betrayal with every crime, but financial crimes like embezzlement is just such a dick move
Well,
to me.
right, but again, that was kind of an interesting little excerpt that I read, and they were talking experts were saying that embezzlers typically don't start out as evil necessarily. It's more opportunistic, right? They're just like, "Hey, I kinda need to take care of me. I'll just skim a little bit off the top." Right,
Yeah.
and you have access to it, right? Like, you have.
I mean, to be fair, that's how addiction starts usually too. It's like nobody graduates high school, walks down the street, and then knows who to go to and where to go and asks for a baggie of heroin. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't ever start that way. It's the what is it called? The phenomenon of diminishing returns or something like that. So every step away from the line, eventually over days, weeks, months, and years, you look back and you're so off target. You're like, how did I even get here?
Sure. Sure. I
You
mean,
know?
it's like drifting out to sea, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's just a
for sure.
gradual creeping thing, and you wake up and you're in the middle of nowhere. So, again, after 9 years of skimming and making excuses for the missing money and things like that, he finally pled guilty in 2014, and he got 10 years in federal prison. His wife, Kay, she got probation, community service, and probably, if you were to ask me if she stayed in the area, a lifetime of side eye at the local grocery store. I mean, like, they're gonna be talking about, "Oh, Miss K," for a long time.
Yeah.
And because I like to focus more on the comeback as opposed to the crime, because that's just the way I roll, the Collins Street Bakery, they did survive. They recovered about 4 million through the estate
See?
sales.
That just pisses me off so
I
bad.
know, I know,
A quarter, what, 25% of what this man bled out of their company.
I know, I know, because he didn't have he like, that's the thing too. He didn't have like, a lot of it was literally, like, blown money. It was racking up a credit card, it was clothing, it was cars that are going to lose their value the minute you drive them off the lot, so you just can't recoup a lot of it. They recovered about 4 million through the estate sale. They tightened their books, they modernized their business, and somehow managed to make fruit cakes cool again.
Oh, Collins.
I know. They started selling online. They partnered with Amazon Prime and leaned into the nostalgia that is, I mean, they just were like, "We are not letting this, 125-year-old bakery go under."
Yeah, that's amazing.
And they
I might just
really
buy a fruitcake from them.
I know. I'm pretty sure they sell them locally. Like, they sell them where I live in Texas. Like, you can get them at the grocery stores. But
Yeah.
I would love to, like, drive through there and just buy one from their
Are you
storefront.
guys coming through there on your
We
way down
might.
here?
I'd have to see if our route will take us there, because that would be a great little place to stop.
If you do, you should totally take a picture so we can post on our
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, and big shout out to Collins Bakery for 125 years of fruitcake excellence.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And I hope Sandy has to eat it while he's in prison.
dude, wouldn't that be the very best? And yeah, they made a total comeback. And what I love the most, so I got all of the information, or the majority, like 99% of the information, from the Collins Street Bakery blog that they have. And this is how they end their blog. And I think this is so brilliant, and I give them a round of applause for this. It says, "We bet you didn't know there was so much money in the fruitcake business. One bite of our world famous fruitcake will have you singing a different song. Try for yourself the fruitcake that fueled our small town scandal. Order our deluxe fruitcake today."
Oh my gosh, I love that they leaned into that.
They totally leaned into it. They literally have a whole blog on the scandal, the whole ins and outs of who this guy was, how much he embezzled from them, and I just love
That is such a
it's marketing
I
brilliance.
love it.
I just love this so much. And so they interviewed one of the guys over there, one of the the higher ups over there at Collins Street Bakery. And I loved this quote that he added to the blog. It says, "You want to trust every one of your employees. You want to treat them like family, but you also want to verify, and that's for your own protection. And if you don't do that, then you run the risk of becoming a victim." So they kind of took this whole like lemon situation, they learned from it, they speak out about it now, and they've kind of turned, you know, lemons into lemon cake, if you will.
You really missed that. You could have been like, they really turned these cherries or pecans into fruitcake.
These sour cherries into candied, sweet, sour cherried fruitcakes.
Oh man. Well, that was awesome. Thank you so much. I've never heard of that. And I do love non-fatal short sides. They're my favorite.
Yeah.
Because then I also don't feel as guilty for like joking around and laughing.
Sure.
You know, like I always feel a little like ugh, when things are super dark. But whatever, Sandy can suck on that juice box.
Oh,
He's got a couple more years in federal prison, so he's aight.
absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I kind of,
Well, no, he might have gotten out. You said that was 2014.
yeah,
He might have gotten
yeah,
out.
he was sentenced to 10 years, right? So he probably is super close to getting out. And and I also have to say that I'm glad that he was put in jail for that long. I mean, I'm
Well,
glad that it
yeah.
wasn't just a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
So, obviously, if you want to read the blog, if you want to read the whole story, then you can go over to the Collins Street Bakery website, and they again have pictures of Sandy and Kay in their private jets that they, bought with their embezzled money. And
Oh, well.
I would say buy a fruitcake,
Yeah.
be thankful for the traditions that the holidays bring. Like Bailey said, try to keep yourself protected if this is a triggering time of year. And yeah,
Chelsea doesn't know how to say goodbye, so
yeah.
all of that to say,
I'm kind of like our Aunt Millie. She says goodbye like 4
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
She's saying goodbye.
and thanks for hanging out with us through this wild and crazy ride.
And we'll catch you on the wild side.
Bye, guys.
Later, Gators.